It's October 10th, Friday, heavy overcast day. Sun's really not getting through anywhere, not to the north, straight up, over to the west. Oh, that's west. A little bright, but not bad. And off to the south. The sun's, it's still feeding the 200-watt solar panel, 13.2 volts, running probably about 3 to 4 amps. See how that's going in the long run. It's working fine for the battery on board the trailer. So for the rider's day, this is the outside condition. Humid, muggy, and overcast. W.C. Quick, author, writing from the wayside. Self-publishing, been my thing for, it looks like since 2014. I started with Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. But before that, I tried submitting my work to different publishing houses. The magazine of fantasy and science fiction and fantasy. It was an interesting experience. I got several rejection letters that weren't cruel. They were just, how the cow ate the cabbage, what they want. They're gatekeepers for their particular, the stories they like, the styles they like, and I don't blame them for it. It's how they make money. My venture into writing started in the late 70s, well, before that in high school, but late 70s, early 80s, I had correspondence courses with several different outfits, one being the Institute of Children's Literature, which was one of the groundwork for one of the stories I have, the Flash and the Thunder. I made way on that because it's a pretty much middle grade and up storytelling style and for the readership. But as for my first ventures into self-publishing, I started this in 2008. This was my first rejection from the magazines. There Was an Old Woman. And it's a 2-part novella. Part 1 is the one I submitted, and part 2 is what I wrote later on. And by 2014, I had finished this particular 2-part series and put it on up for I believe it was only available from Kindle ebook and Kindle Unlimited at the time. I hadn't, but at that time they had an outfit called Create Space where you could make your print books before KDP took over the process of print book publication for Amazon Books. And I'd also written 5 short stories from my Worlds of the Orb precursor called The Peculiar Pastimes of Retired Fairy Godmothers. And this was my first venture into also self-publishing. And this is one that I turned into a book. I ended up compiling it and revising it into a novel called Blood, Bone, and a Witch's Kiss, which I don't have in print anymore. You can get this particular 5 short story series in the original, it's revised 2024 Worlds of the Orb anthology has these 5 short stories in it, plus an epilogue to the tales, along with 7 other novellas, short stories and novellas from my Worlds of the Orb series. And this is also incorporated into the Worlds of the Orb anthology. My experience with self-publishing is on a complete circle. I had the idea when I first started out, like everybody, have my own bookmarks too, but that somehow I was going to convince a publishing house to publish my works. And then I realized, and I had some inklings, but not inklings, I nibbles from the publishing house, but the truth is, they want to make money, and I don't blame them. Not a whole lot of people are buying or reading print books these days. I mean, big name authors, Stephen King. There's a number of big name authors that can sell their books to their readership. Just put them out there. The readers don't even read them. They just like to have a big, fat, smelly print book from Stephen King, and I'd like to have a readership like that or a following like that. But you can actually do it. It's kind of like making a Butterfinger candy bar. Once you get established like that, people are going to buy your book because it's a Butterfinger candy bar. It has the same taste, texture, gives you the same happy feeling when you get in the first third. Stephen King has lost it for me in that he's a master of the first third of any story he writes. He introduces the characters and gets you emotionally involved in the tale, be it horror or anything, mostly horror. And then he goes on to write a ridiculous story to finish it up, and that's fine, because the people love it. I'd like to get the readership, but I try not to make... I do have, in the worlds of horror, because of the nature of the story and the creation of fantasy realm of Twilight and the real time, and that there's alternate fairy tale characters involved in it. They never go away, and they have somewhat of an immortal value to them, but the stories are hopefully different and challenging and entertaining, I'd like to say, for what I've been writing. And I like it. I enjoy creating my world. Science fiction's a little different for me, but in terms of my fantasy, dark fantasy, alternate universe type storytelling, as is in there was an old woman. These are unique. It's unique to me, and I would hope that it's the alternate telling of classic fairy tale. One being there was an old woman that swallowed a fly, and this is an offshoot of that. I wrote this complete by 2008, and I first published it in 2014. The Beneath the Barn series, starting with The Kiss, I started in probably 2010 and first published in 2014 a version of these five stories here, which were all Kindle ebook 1 through 5, but now they're compiled into one compilation. This is quite the novel, but it is the 5-story compilation, which is now part of the Worlds of the Horror anthology. I don't think you can buy this on Amazon anymore. That's a picture I took up along the eastern Sierras. And this one was some of my metal art that I used in this sculpture design. Thorny design is part of the bloody part of Blood, Bone, and a Witch's Kiss. That is the novelization of Beneath the Barn, the first 5 short stories. But that's my journey. What kind of journey do you have writing? What do you write about? I'd be happy to hear about it. Thank you for letting me chat, and God bless all of you.